Hi, this presentation will provide you with information about human resource management and the labor market in Vietnam, and we will present it in a voice recording format that allows you to follow with PowerPoint slide presentation. Hi, my name is Ben Nguyen and I'm from Hoa San University. Welcome to my presentation. After completing this presentation, you should be able to have a better understanding of the nature of labor market, to identify the main factors effect on labor market, and next, labor supply and demand. Then I will present some issues of current employment in Vietnam, and the last part you will find conclusion, reduction and solution. Now I will present the first part of my presentation, the nature of labor market. Labor market involves two sides, the employee and the employer. The first one is seeking for paid work, whereas the latter is seeking for workers to fill vacancy in the firm. Thus, labor supply and labor demand are formed in the labor market. Labor supply include working age people who are in employment and people who are looking for a job. Labor demand include number of workers that firms are willing and able to hire at different wages. They are affected by competition and market wage. Let's take an example of a football club that pays high wage to players to attract them to the team. However, the cost will increase. But then if it pays low wages, then high turnover will occur. Right. Another example, there are some banks in Vietnam which are in short of talent due to the hunt for high-profile persons from other banks with higher remuneration. What enterprise need is, in fact, when enterprise need is a stable and highly cooperative workforce to reduce cost. For example, cost of recruitment, training, placement, management, and turnover. In order to achieve what they want, the firm will introduce efficient policy to retain the workers. That is, they should pay high where skilled labor is scarce and hard replacement. And next, they should create mutual trust and cooperation among workers and between management and staff to get high performance from everyone in the firm. Next, I would like to present to you the main factors effect on labor market. On the labor supply side, there are four aspects to be considered, namely the population, the age structure, the gender composition, and the workforce. On the labor demand side, there are also four aspects to be considered. They are the economy, the inequity in labor market, the gender-based inequity, and the racism discrimination. According to the National Census, as of July 2014, the number of Vietnamese population was estimated 93.5 million people roughly. It accounts for 1% population growth rate and 1% as birth rate. The child labor, children from 5 to 14 age accounted for 16% in 2006. Age structure and gender. The number of people fall into working age category with age from 15 to 64 accounts for around 64%, round figures. Male occupy 32.7 million people, whereas the number of female is slightly lower, around 32.6 million. If we plan the workforce taking the age of over 15, there are two classifications: the economic activity and the economic inactivity. The economic activity refers to the employed people and the unemployed seeking employment due to personal reason, traveling, payment, or type of contract, etc. The economic inactivity refers to the people who are in the working age but are not seeking for a job. For example, students, caring children, disability, or those choosing not to work, and the people who are out of working age. As we have examined, to support the labor supply side, the government should issue policy to encourage inactivity working age to enter into employment, and also issue anti-discrimination legislation. As for labor demand side, there are also four aspects to be considered, namely the economic factor, the labor market inequity, the gender-based inequity, and the ethnically based inequity. According to the supply and demand rule, when the economy grows, the labor demand increase and the unemployment decrease. For example, in the Thai labor market, there will be high turnover and there are difficulty in recruitment, shortage of skilled workforce. The policy will seek employment from within the firm, for example, higher payment, promotion, training, and trade union will be more powerful. There are three sectors in the economy: the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary sector, or the agriculture, the manufacturing, and service sectors, if we look back into the history. The primary and the secondary sector form in the labor market. But the employers in primary sector often decide to reject candidates from secondary jobs because they believe that those labor are not qualified, poor performance, poor patterns of work attitude. Thus, there is a wide influence in labor market in which some have advantages and some get disadvantages. If we look back into the history since 1960, due to a strong economic growth and high productivity, a number of workers employed in manufacturing in the UK, USA, and in major European countries has declined. As for gender-based inequity, There are major differences in type of work that men and women tend to do. For example, men take full-time job of business, trade, sales, politics, media, technology with high payment, whereas the women take part-time job of administrative, secretarial, cleaning, caring job with low payment. Ethnically based inequity. The minority always have disadvantages in employment. For example, they are paid less, and mostly they are less employed in managerial or professional occupation because they are being discriminated unfairly in some sector. For example, in education and skilled work. We come to the issue of current employment. There is a wider use of part-time job and temporary contract side, mostly in private sector. The risk of job loss when the world economy downturn occurred during 1980s and 1990s. Even the manager and professors were also facing the problem of jobless. The cause of jobless, there will be loss in income, increasing fee for losing cost, and psychological effect. Next, the erosion of internalized employment system. Then the effort and pressure, because the worker will work longer hours, they will work harder, they will work faster, and more of them worry about the work problem, and there is a decline of collective bargain. Then the worker become more control of themselves. So there will be a decline of control in manager and professor due to technology, financial pressure. Now I'd like to present to you the nature of Vietnam labor market. Here are some of the characteristics. We have young workforce, but anyhow, we have a surplus of workforce. They are not qualified, lack of skill and professionals. They are not well trained in soft skills such as in communications, team working, proactive in working and solving problems. They are not properly aware of working attitude, no loyalty, no principle, and there's a high competition in the labor market. Now come the conclusion. First of all, I'd like to mention about the action. The government policy launched work-life balance campaign. For example, they provide unpaid leave policy and more paid holiday and flexibility in work arrangement to encourage the enterprise to be more involved, to ease the work for the employee. And the employer responds to the work-life balance by their high commitment with the utmost goal to satisfy their employee. And lastly, the solution. For high level of manager, we create a wide network for selection. We make use of well-known of the company creation for the employer of choice. We provide more training and motivation as well as support them to integrate into new culture. For employees in office and in factory, we should have a careful selection to avoid not well-mannered workers who can cause damage for the factory and the company. We will provide a better training for the attitude of work, higher skill and motivation. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching and listening.